Okay, so for today's article, we're going to be talking about what we're going to do in the festival. But before we start, I would like to ask you a question.
Okay.
So what other festival in Spain do you know about, or have you been to any of them?
Okay. Well, Spain has a lot of different traditions and cultures within the country. So I think one of the most special ones that I've seen is during Semana Santa, which is the week of Easter.
Okay.
How do we say that in Chinese, Easter?
复活节.
Okay, so the week before, because Christians celebrate the rising of Christ at that time, it's actually a very sad festival, and you see all of the priests in every town dress up, especially in the south. They dress up in very strange outfits. They wear very tall cone hats, and they kind of carry statues of Jesus and Mary through the streets like it's a funeral.
Okay.
And there's a lot of very sad music. It's very, the strangest thing about it is that the priests kind of look like the KKK from the US, the racist terrorists. Their uniforms are very similar, so it's a very, very strange thing to see. But yeah, there's a lot of those kind of deeply religious, very, very traditional festivals in Spain. Anyway, we're still talking about how these have carried on to today, so let's get back to Las Fallas article and find out how that is celebrated nowadays.
Reading. Fun and flames at Las Fallas de Valencia. Today, Las Fallas has developed into a 5-day, 5-night street party that runs from March 15th to March 19th. Every year, the fun begins with an event called La Planta, during which the Falla statues are set up. This turns the city into something out of a storybook. Fairies, giants, and cartoon characters seem to jump out at you on every street. The only thing more startling about Las Fallas is its fireworks. Every day at 2 p.m., the city sets off more than 120 kilograms of explosives in the city center, at ground level. This event, known as La Mascleta, is so loud that you can actually feel each explosion shake through your body if you're standing close enough. The night of March 19th in Valencia is La Nit de la Crema, the night of the burning. At this time, each magical statue is destroyed in a fiery public display. However, first the public chooses to save one statue, the Forgiven One. It will be stored in the Fallas Museum, where decades of Valencian art and humor are saved for generations to come.
So our article starts off by saying, today, Las Fallas has developed into a 5-day, 5-night street party that runs from March 15th to March 19th.
So it's developed into this big party. Now, when something develops, that's a verb, it improves or gets bigger in a certain way. So Las Fallas started as the simple act of burning old furniture and became a much bigger 5-day event. It developed into a 5-day event. So there is a preposition we normally need to use when we're talking about develop. We develop into something. So just like with transformations, we say A turned into B, or A transformed into B. The prince turned into a frog, or the prince transformed into a frog. We follow develop with into. When we want to say that one thing became another, like in this example sentence. In 1923, a small film studio was started. Later, it developed into one of the biggest media companies in the world, the Walt Disney Company. Our example sentence talks about the development of a company, so that is the noun form. We could also say that Walt Disney developed his studio into a big company, because we can use develop as a transitive verb, which has an object, or we can use it as an intransitive verb. So what are some other ways that we can use develop, Chiglin?
OK， 我们来看一下 develop 这个字哦，它是一个动词，那是扩大发展的意思。所以我们说一个开发中的国家就可以说 a developing country。那么已开发的国家，已经开发，你就可以说 developed countries。好，那老师刚刚提到 development， 它是一个名词哦。我们再造一个句子，它是发展的意思。譬如说呢，doctors should keep up with the latest developments in medicine，代表医生一定要跟上药学的发达，要一直跟上它的发展。所以在今天呢 Las Vallas 这一个 festival， 它已经演变成一个5天5夜的街头派对，也就是从3月15号到3月19号。
Every year, the fun begins with an event called La Planta, during which the fire statues are set up.
好，那我们来看一下今天的英文练功法，是以介系词加上关系代名词来合并一个句子。所以我们再回到课文中的句子，其实它2句呢是长这样子。我们看一下 ，Every year the fun begins with an event called La Planta。那第2个句子 ，The fire statues are set up during La Planta。所以这2句其实分别说明法雅节呢是以 La Planta 作为开始，然后呢在 La Planta 的活动期间呢，法雅的雕像是被设立的。那么因为2句都在讲 La Planta 这个活动，所以其实我们可以直接用关系代名词 which 来取代，然后呢把介系词 during 向前提，变成 during 再加上关系代名词 which 变成 during which 来合并2句，就会非常的容易。那我们来看一下下面怎么改。你可以变成说 Every year the fun begins with an event called La Planta, during which the fire statues are set up。所以你就可以知道说这2句其实原来是长这样子的。那我们再看另外一个例句哦，譬如说 Ryan will spend all summer at a sports camp。那么第2个句子 During the sports camp, he'll get to play soccer,basketball and baseball。 好，所以代表他可以在这个同一个场合做这样子的事情，那我们就可以改写成 Ryan will spend all summer at a sports camp, during which he'll get to play soccer, basketball and baseball。 但是在某些情况下呢，介系词加上关系代名词也可以用关系副词 when 来替换。譬如说 Mexico became a country in 1821 when it won its independence from Spain。 好，所以就可以知道说墨西哥在1821年建国，那因为是指的是时间，我们用 when。 当时呢，它从西班牙手中赢得了独立。
Okay, so we also saw the pocket phrase set up. Now, when we set up something, we put it together so that it is ready for use. The Las Fallas statues are big, really big, so they can't be finished in the artist's studio. The artists make them in pieces and then set them up in the street. Similarly, if you buy a bed or some shelves from IKEA, you'll have to set them up before you use them. Set up doesn't always have to be used with furniture. We can also use it to mean getting ready a new piece of technology, like this example. Sam doesn't know how to set up this application on his computer, as he hasn't used it before.
好，那所以我们知道法雅节是以 La Planta 作为开始，那并且在这个活动期间呢，法雅雕像就被设立了。那接下来呢，我们再看一下文章说了什么。那这个活动 ，This turns the city into something out of a storybook。哦，哇，那我们看到这个 phrase turn something into something， 就是使什么变成什么，所以这个就让整座城市变成是在故事书里面才能看到的世界。Like you can say the witch turned the prince into a frog， 所以把什么变成什么。
Completely changed who he was. So how does it turn it into something like out of a storybook? Well, the article says fairies, giants, and cartoon characters seem to jump out at you on every street. So we saw the vocab word fairy there. Fairy is a noun, and have you ever seen Peter Pan? Tinkerbell, that little girl in green with the wings that flies around him, is a fairy. Fairies are magical people, often with wings, that appear in a lot of children's stories. They're also sometimes called pixies too. Fairies cast spells on people, that's 用魔力摄住人 魔人 and sometimes they play tricks on people as well. They can 骗人 as well. They often live in enchanted forests, that's 魔法森林, or at least where you'll find them is in a fairy tale. So how do we say fairy tale again?
童话故事.
Okay, so it's, you know, those kind of nice like kids stories and stuff like that, magic powers. Anyway, our example sentence for fairies is people used to believe that this forest was filled with fairies. And just remember there, fairies is the plural form. We don't keep the Y, we change it to IES.
好，我们来看一下 fairy 这个，突然觉得自己变得很仙女哦。所以 fairy 它是个名词，它是小精灵、小仙子的意思。So, do you believe in fairies?
Do I believe in fairies? I
think
don't
I
want to
do.
spoil the magic.
Right, okay.
Okay.
我们来看一下吧。那 fairy 也是可以当形容词的哦。如果那形容词呢，它就是小仙子般的。那老师刚刚讲到的 fairy tale 就是童话故事。那么一样，如果你把 fairy tale 中间加一个横线，你可以当形容词童话般的。譬如说 ，She has always wanted to have a fairy tale wedding。她一直都很想有童话故事般的婚礼。那么另外看到 jump out at you 就是要入眼帘的意思。所以你就可以知道说，这些小仙子啊、巨人呢，跟一些卡通人物，都可以在每条街上映入眼帘。
The only thing more startling about Las Fallas is its fireworks. Now, we know about fireworks, but what is startling? Well, when something is startling, it makes us really shocked or surprised. Basically, it's anything that makes you surprised or makes you jump out of your seat. So we could also use this phrase, which is a little bit like startling, give someone a start. So, 把某人吓一跳. So, for example, that loud noise gave me a start.
OK， 所以 startling 就是令人惊讶的意思，或者是一个它可以当它就当形容词。那原型是 startle 是一个动词哦，可以当惊吓、惊奇的意思。所以在更令人惊讶的是这个法雅节的烟火，让人家感到非常的惊讶。So like startle 可以吓别人，譬如说有人吓到你 ，when somebody startles you, you can say, don't startle me like that， 不要这样吓我。也是可以用 startle 这个字。
Exactly. So every day at 2 p.m., the city sets off more than 120 kilograms of explosives in the city center at ground level. Okay, so there, ground level, by the way, means that they set it off on the ground.
Oh, okay.
But what is set off?
好哦，我们再看到 set off 这一个片语，它是使什么东西爆炸的意思，所以像你去放一个炸弹，你就可以说 to set off a bomb。那么也有出发的意思，比如说 they set out for Europe，他们出发到欧洲去了。
They went on a journey. Okay, so we also saw the word explosives there. Now, explosives is a noun, and an explosive is an object that's purpose is to explode or 爆炸. So bombs, fireworks, and the firecrackers we talked about in day 1 are all explosives. Their main job is to explode.
所以在节庆期间呢，每天的下午2点，城市就会在市中心地面上引爆超过120公斤的炸药 ，explosive 这边是炸药的意思。Wow, that sounds like a lot.
It is. This event, known as La Mascleta, is so loud that you can actually feel the explosion shake through your body if you're standing close enough. And I've actually been to this one.
Okay, how did you feel?
It's
you
strange.
scared?
You feel it almost makes your bones shake. So you have to keep your mouth open or you might bite your tongue.
Oh, wow.
So the whole thing just makes you go, whoa, while you're watching it. So it's very, very startling, this event. Very startling.
OK， 那我们这边看到另外一个很常用的片语 known as， 就是被称为或以什么身份为人而知的，所以这个活动被称为 La Mascleta. Is that how it is pronounced?
Yes, it is.
大家以这个名字知道这个活动 OK， 所以你就知道 known as 是指一个人的身份，来让他知道，让大家知道这个事情。
And we also saw the word actually there. Now, this adverb is something that we use when we previously said something that was one way, but we actually want to point out that it is really another way. So let's explain that with an example sentence. Michael said he spent all night studying. Actually, he was playing video games. Here we use actually to show that what Michael really did was play video games, even though he said that he was studying. Now, here's another one. Brenda thinks Ben is happy to do whatever she says, when actually he's getting tired of being bossed around. So, like, we could take out actually there. We could just say when he's getting tired of being bossed around, but actually really makes us think, this is what's really happening. Ben is really tired of being bossed around.
In fact.
In fact. Yeah.
所以像实际上、事实上，我们都可以用 actually 这一个副词。那它的形容词也是让 ly 拿掉，变 actual， 也是当实际的。譬如说 ，The actual price was lower than I had thought， 所以代表实际价钱比我原来预想的还要低哦。所以这个活动制造声响超级大声 ，like 大声到如果你站得够近，你可以感受到爆炸的震动你的全身。像 Seb 老师刚刚说，如果你站太近，你的牙齿、嘴巴要张开，不然你可能会咬到你的舌头。好，那我们来看一下这个。We also saw the word explosion. An explosion is a violent burst, often with a loud noise, and the verb form is explode. And 老师刚刚讲到 explosive 就是爆炸物，那么 explosive 也可以当形容词，只是在这边当名词。
So that's not the only really surprising event that they have during Las Fallas. The night of March 19th in Valencia is La Nit de la Crema, the night of the burning. Now, if you'll remember, the 19th is also when they used to do these bonfires in the Middle Ages. We said that in day 1.
Okay.
So the article says, at this time, each magical statue is destroyed in a fiery public display. Okay, so destroy is our next word. Now, this verb we use when we destroy something, we damage it so much that it can't be used anymore. Anything can be destroyed. You could destroy a car if you crash it really hard into something, or a whole city could be destroyed in a big war, like this example sentence. Carthage was a powerful city in North Africa thousands of years ago, but it was destroyed by the Romans. So if you go to where Carthage was today, you won't find a big city now because it was damaged so much that all the people left.
好，所以 destroy 这个动词就是破坏啊、毁灭的意思。所以3月19号这一天就被称为燃烧之夜 ，the night of the burning。好，那这个时候呢，每一座雕像就会在大家的面前被烧毁。那我们看到这边有个形容词 fiery， 它就是extremely bright, hot, or like fire， 因为它就长得像 fire， 不觉得吗？好，那我们看到它就是熊熊烈火的意思，你可以把它翻成熊熊烈火的意思。那么如果有人比较容易动怒啊，我们就可以说那个人有一个 fiery temper， 你就可以说 maybe a cat has a fiery temper. Though that's not true. Or maybe,
someone's little sister.
Yeah, Chi has a fiery temper. I do. I really do because I'm an Aries. Yeah. All Aries do that. Right? Okay, I'm just kidding.
However, first the public chooses to save one statue, the forgiven one. Okay, so we have that little comma there. We have that non-restrictive clause there. The forgiven one, we're saying that the statue is called the forgiven one. The article says it will be stored in the Fallas Museum, where decades of Valencian art and humor are saved for generations to come. Okay, so we saw the word decade there, which is a noun, and a decade is a period of 10 years. When we talk about something happening for decades, or say that there are decades of something, when we want to say then we want to say that thing has been around for a really, really long time. For example, Taiwan's White Terror, the Baisa Kongbu, lasted for decades. It started in the 1940s and it ended in the 1980s. We can also talk about individual decades as well. You might hear people talking about the 70s, 80s, or 90s, and these are all short ways of talking about whole decades, the 1970s, the 1980s, and the 1990s. So a 90s kid, for example, is someone who grew up in the 1990s. Do you consider yourself a 90s kid?
I guess. Yeah, I think I'm more mature than most of them.
Really?
Yeah, I think I am. I don't know. Do you think I am?
I think, yeah, probably.
Yeah,
I don't know, because I think I'm too young to be a 90s kid.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
right, okay. But
So-
people think I look like I act like I'm a 50-year-old, so. Like,
Oh,
I
maybe
don't-
you're too young then. Maybe you're too young as
Yeah.
well. We're so fresh. Anyway, here's our example sentence for decade. This country's president has held her position for over a decade. She was voted into power in 2005.
然后所以大家这个字其实蛮好懂的 decade 它是一个名词，它是10年的意思。那所以我们知道说烧毁这些雕像之前，大众要先选出一个雕像，也就是要被原谅的那个雕像，它就会被存在 Viejas 的那个博物馆里面。那这边我们看到 Decades of Valencian Art and Humor 意思指的是数十年属于巴伦西亚的艺术跟幽默。好，那我们再用 decade 造一个句子哦。We've experienced many changes over the last decade. 这个我们就可以知道说，我们在过去10年经历了许多的改变。And we also have this vocabulary to look at, generation.
Right, generation, a noun, is the amount of time between one person being born and that person's children being born. There are different ways of defining the limits of a generation. However, in general, people from the same generation share similar values, that's 价值观, and have experienced similar things. So, for example, Sam and his father are from different generations, so they don't always see eye to eye on everything.
OK， 那我们看一下 generation 是一代或世代的意思，是个名词，所以世代流传你就可以说 from generation to generation，是一个片语。那么我们常常会说到代沟，我们就可以说 generation gap。所以譬如说 there exists a generation gap between the young and the old。对，这个很常见啊。Like, have you experienced that?
Yeah, every so often there's always sometimes when I'm talking to my dad or something like that, he'll say something and I'm like, I'm not sure I agree, and I think it's more of the generation gap than it is our personalities or anything like that.
对，没错。那我们又看到我们的文章说 generation to come， 这 generations to come 就是说即将到来的世代，意思是说呢，博物馆存放这些东西是为了将来的世代。
Right, well, that's all the time we have to talk about Las Fallas, this fantastic, loud and fiery festival in Valencia. But we do have one last For You Chat question, so let's check that out now.
For You Chat.
So our For You Chat question for today is, imagine you were going to make a fire statue. What would it be about? That's interesting.
I think maybe I'd want to do one of two, actually, because you can do it into some of the fire statues are about criticizing things and some of them are about making fun of things. So they're not all negative. Even though you set fire to them, it's not necessarily bad.
Okay.
So I think one of them I would want, if I was going to do a criticizing one, kind of an angry one, I think I would do one about bullfighting.
Okay.
Which is a tradition in Spain, which you guys probably have heard of, where a man fights a bull and in the end the bull normally dies. And it's a very controversial thing in Spain right now. Like a lot of people don't like it, a lot of people like it. So I think that would be a good fire statue to maybe do kind of a funny or a satirical side of that. My other one would be maybe some of the politicians in the UK right now, because I have lots of political views about my country right now, and we talk about current events and people, public figures. So I feel like that could also be kind of funny, but I won't say who because we're trying to.
No, we can't.
Yeah,
we have to keep that in mind.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, so I think that's all we have for today, and then we learned what they do, and we learned how they how people do for the festival, and it was really interesting to know that. And if you guys are interested, go check that out online, or you can talk with your friends about about our For You Chat question and see what kind of a statue you would make.
Exactly. So for English for You, I'm Seb.
I'm Chikli.
And we'll catch you again next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Fun and flames at Las Fallas de Valencia. Today, Las Fallas has developed into a 5-day, 5-night street party that runs from March 15th to March 19th. Every year, the fun begins with an event called La Planta, during which the Fallas statues are set up. This turns the city into something out of a storybook. Fairies, giants, and cartoon characters seem to jump out at you on every street. The only thing more startling about Las Fallas is its fireworks. Every day at 2 p.m., the city sets off more than 120 kilograms of explosives in the city center, at ground level. This event, known as La Mascletà, is so loud that you can actually feel each explosion shake through your body if you're standing close enough. The night of March 19th in Valencia is La Nit de la Crema, the night of the burning. At this time, each magical statue is destroyed in a fiery public display. However, first the public chooses to save one statue, the Forgiven One. It will be stored in the Fallas Museum, where decades of Valencian art and humor are saved for generations to come.
Vocabulary Review. Develop. In only 50 years, this tiny village developed into a city of millions of people. Fairy. This children's story is full of fairies, dragons, and magical monsters. Actually. Greg says that he wrote the report on his own, but actually, his mom helped him. Destroy. Millie's dad sat on her art project and destroyed it. Decade. My dad has worked for that company for decades. In fact, he's been there since it was founded. Generation. We need to take care of our planet for future generations. If we don't, life will be very hard for them.
智慧小补帖
Startling. Explosive. Explosion. Fiery.